Toby Groves, and I study the brains of CPAs. I do experiments with CPAs and auditors all around the United States to try to determine how they interpret things, how they make decisions. A good team, a high-functioning team, they have to be able to adapt, they have to be resilient, they have to be able to deal with things that they didn't see coming, and that takes a very different set of characteristics for the team. We have to be able to communicate well together, and to me that requires psychological safety. We have to feel like we can say things, talk about things that others don't talk about, that others might not notice. So, a team that is free to talk about those things that maybe aren't comfortable. If we can't talk about those things, how are we going to be ready for them? How are we going to foresee those things? Be ready to adapt, to be resilient. And I think the absence of groupthink. So I think it's really important for leaders to realize that those norms, right, that's more of a bottom-up type of thing, where, what do things mean? Right? Does it mean if you disagree on something, does it mean that you don't like each other? Does it mean there's stress now in the relationship? Or does it mean curiosity and another way to solve a problem? Right? And I think those norms, building those norms that build that psychological safety is so critical. I think that's really the difference in the high functioning team and other teams. I believe for leaders to be able to build and sustain a high-performing, high-functioning culture, one of the probably biggest pitfalls that I've seen is that they overestimate their power to change the thinking of the group, to change the norms. So, of course, tone at the top is important. However, codes, written guidance, symbols, those only go so far. They don't change the norms that we were just talking about. That needs to come from within. So have people involved in whatever you're developing processes. Make people feel like they are valued, and have them help determine what the processes and procedures are. If it's an ethics code, have them part of it. Don't give it to them at the end, right? That would be more top down. So I think involving people, that builds those norms, right? And then also I think a pitfall would be of leaders that they don't have anybody look at review their decisions, right? Everything is top down, and they push everything down, and they expect everything to just come back up a standard chain of command. And I think one of my favorite examples from stage on this is comparing flight crews. Flight crew where you might totally have an avoidable problem, but because of the norms of communication within the group, they crash. And there have been those cases. Avianca Flight 42, I think, is one of them. The other, everybody knows this one, right? Sully Sullenberger, the Miracle on the Hudson, where he said, when they asked him, how'd you pull this off? It wasn't technology. it was communication within the team. And he said every flight that he is on, he makes sure that everyone is introduced by first name, because if you know somebody's first name, you're more likely to communicate with them. He also said that there are no stupid questions, that you are expected to bring things up that nobody else has noticed. And he said a lot of leaders want to be followed unquestioningly, but it's not about who's right, it's about what's right. If you look at those things, I'm really talking about building psychological safety, in that team. And I think a lot of leaders overlook that. And I think those are the pitfalls that I would focus on.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and click the notification bell to be the first to view GSCPA videos. Follow us on other social media for even more society news.